What's going on, ladies and Men of Prestige? Welcome back. Welcome back to Men of Prestige. Hey, D'Souza, good to see you. Welcome back, D Love. Good to see you too. Good to see you. Yes, we're going to have a fantastic conversation today. Today we're taking over. Africans, we're taking over. That's not new. We've been taking over for quite a few decades. And we're not going to stop today, you know? So, yes, we're going to be talking about TREVOR NOAH today, very shortly. But we also have some stories to cover today. Can you hear me? If you can hear me clearly, please let me know in the chat. Just say it loud and clear. Let me know where you're plugging in from. Tell me where you're plugging in from. Let's go ahead and celebrate this fine gentleman today. As we should, yes. But there's some other things I want to talk about with respect to this guy. But also, I've got stories, I've got a study I want to review with you, ladies and gentlemen of Prestige. All right. And shout out to all of you. We hit 70,000 views. 70,000 views, no be beans. Right? Thank you so much. Yeah, that's good. All right. Do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe right now. Let everyone. That's how you let people know we're here, right? Go ahead and hit that. And if you will, while you're at it, grab the link and send a quick 3 emails out to people. Let them know we're hanging out here, okay? They might watch it right now, maybe later. It doesn't matter, right? But yes, we're talking about TREVOR NOAH Quits today. We're talking about, I don't know, some weird-ass term called Fraysexual. There's an article that we're going to go through. I just want your thoughts about it. And then also, we're going to talk about Africans taking over, right? We're going to talk about that, right? But in addition to that, we have a story. And an accompanying study that we should go through that has to do with the 7 relationship gaps. Yeah, we're going to talk about that really quickly today. Happy Friday to you. Happy weekend. Hopefully your week went good, right? We started the week together. We're going to end it together. But without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's get started. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so again, welcome to everyone over here. Let me just go ahead and share this right away. Let me drop the link because it's a Friday, right? Like, why not? Just in case you want to come up, you have an opinion, you want to co-host this today's story with me. Why not, right? It's Friday, and let's dig in today. As usual, we're gonna have some relationship lessons today to go through. Um, sometimes I'm online and I see people say, "Una still they talk about this love thing," and I'm like, "Yeah." Let's make sure the audio is good. I'm hearing some crackbacks. Are you guys hearing like a little crack or something? All right, we should be good now. Just making sure the cables are not acting up. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure that we're not getting any cracks or anything like that. All right. That's awesome. So I'm pinning the link to the top. All right. Go ahead and ping all your friends in. We got a fun story to go through today. What did you guys think about yesterday's story? Right? Ladies and gentlemen, what did you think about yesterday's story? That guy, the UK doctor. Would you like more of those kind of stories? It was long as hell, but would you like more of those, or it could have been a lot shorter? Let me know your thoughts. Hey Leela, good to see you. Yes, Fraysexual, right? I know, right? Can't wait to find out what that means. I'm just finding out too, but I wanted to dig in a little deeper on that. It's trending for some weird reasons. Um, yes, yes. As a matter of fact, there's somebody that, let me see here if I can find something. There was a comment that just came in not too long ago. Let me see if I can highlight that comment really quickly. There's a comment that came in literally like a few minutes ago. Let's see. While I'm taking care of this, just go ahead and hit that like button. Let people know we're here. Hit that like button. Share the link with people. All right, yeah, let me share this with you all. Let me see. Where is okay, there you go. Perfect, perfect. Yeah, found it. All right. What's going on? Mindral, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so we have nothing special. We're just taking Africans are taking over. But that's special, I guess. So that's why we're celebrating Trevor Noah today. But of course, we have some other stories to get through. This is a comment from Everything Esosa. Shout out to Everything Esosa. She said this story would truly be the worst movie ever written. This guy is really dumb, Sha. Our Naija babe was right in saying that he was dumb. Why waste this much time and energy with all the evidence on ground? He was basically dishing all the evidence against himself, right? Why am I laughing so hard? This story made my day. So that's one person that found the story fascinating. I did think it was fascinating. I do have another story today that this aligns with what we're talking about today, which is the 7 relationship gaps. So we're definitely going to be talking about that. All right. I mean, the story yesterday was crazy. Why would an educated man spend this time trying to trap a woman that doesn't value him, right? Like so much time. Sometimes people misconstrue. I do tell people either you're in a dating phase or relationship or talking phase, right? Or talking phase or marriage phase game. Both men and women, you need game, right? But sometimes people misconstrue that for playing games. That's not the same thing as playing games. Particularly, probably the biggest part about that is two things: social skills and emotional intelligence. What it means is that you need skills. Okay, we're not just gonna pretend like intersexual dynamics is some stuff that is just we should wing along. No, you need game. You need skills. Okay, either you're a man or woman. Especially a man or woman of certain age, you need skills. The thing is that when you were younger, you actually had those skills because you could care less. But the older you get, the more experience you get, the more hurt you get. A default. You will need game, right? Not playing games. So, he was playing games. He didn't have game. He was playing games. And that's a problem. There's a difference between playing games and having game. It means skills. It's like somebody playing sports. That guy got game. He has skills. That's what that means. It doesn't mean he's playing games with human beings, right? And he was busy playing games with his girlfriend that he accepted, he admitted to be in love with, but at the same time, insecurities all over the place, right? Yes. Shout out to you, Layla. Uh, he wants to travel to the world and do more comedy shows, right? He's on top of the world right now, right? Trevor Noah. He's on top of the world right now. So no, so Brother Patrick, good to see you, sir. So it's not only bad news that we'll bring sometimes we just want to celebrate people that are doing well, right? People that are doing so well, they stick it up to their boss, right? By the way, I am all about sticking it up to your boss. Okay, so you will see more of that. By the way, if you could share these videos and make money significantly while you're sharing these videos, would you be interested? I do have systems in place for that, but I have to set it up, right? If you could share links with 10 people per day and make money while you're doing it, would you be interested? Let me know in the chat if you will be interested. If I don't have at least 10 people saying I will be interested either in the chat or in the comment, I'll just stay making all the money by myself and I can always use the support. But thank you nonetheless. Just wanted to ask, Trevor misses his freedom, learning new language, etc. I bet, is that what the stories are saying? Because I'm sure there's more stories coming out since this news broke out last night, right? Queen J says, shout out to you, Queen J. She says, I'm going to miss Trevor. I'll be very honest with you. I didn't watch that show a lot. I caught some clips, okay, on YouTube, because it was that show was also heavy on YouTube. They have a lot of viral clips going out on YouTube. I do catch those, and I really, really liked his style. But I haven't watched regular TV in a long time. I'm sorry. Right. Yes. All right. So welcome back, everyone. Shout out to all you ladies and gentlemen of Prestige. It's always a pleasure to have you here. It's always a pleasure to have you here. I do have a couple of things. Let me just go ahead and share that. What the hell is Fraysexual? Let's dissect together. Let's see if it makes any sense. People are always coming up with all kind of terms, right? They're always coming up with some weird terms. Let's see. So somebody said, let me see. I do have an article here on Herald NG. I'm gonna post it in a second. There you go. I'm going to share that screen with you in a second. Hey, as you're coming in, announce yourself. Announce yourself. Let's see. Shout out to you, Bhagavad. Bhagavad says, phrase sexual is a crazy thing that means attracted to people you don't know. Is that crazy? Is that really crazy? Hmm? Is that crazy? Think about it. Is it really crazy? Right? Or is that just a reality of to a large extent? Are we more attracted to people we know or to people we don't know? All right, so this is interesting, right? I'm sure your natural instinct is like, no, people that I know. Really? The people that you know, those are the people you're more attracted to? Think about this deeply. Think about it deeply, right? I watched almost all of his shows and bought his book, Born of a Crime. I need to check that out. Okay, he has some crazy background. A lot of people see him as the pretty boy, Bororo type of boy who was raised, with a silver spoon in his mouth. But I think the little bit I've heard about him, his story is quite far from that. Especially as a biracial kid growing up in South Africa. A story, maybe about 10, 7 to 10 points would be a nice one to review here someday. Let's see how this video responds. We might do a follow up to actually review his background. Some things is what makes who we are when it comes to relationship over time, right? How we were raised. If you're a privileged kid, it has a significant impact on what you become in relationships later. Naturally, right? You take things for granted if you're privileged. And quite naturally, if you weren't raised with so much privileges, you are very particular. You take care of the little you got, right? So that may have something to do with a success story, which I do think we should review someday, right? Yes, a new term again, Fraysexual. Hey, voila, deal. I will share with you in a second what they're saying. But if you know more about this, let me know. Because me too, I'm learning. I never watched the show either. I do think Trevor Noah is very intelligent and quite funny. Absolutely, both. Yeah, both. Absolutely. It's crazy in the sense that their attractiveness decreases as you know them. Yes, isn't that the reality? I'm asking again, Bhagavad. Isn't that the reality? Unless you get to a space where you become intentional, all right? And then you start to nurture your relationships. Remember what I said about just taking things for granted just now, right? You don't take something that's scarce. You don't take it for granted. If it's scarce, you don't take it for granted. You take things that are readily available for granted, including people in your life. If they are readily available to you, meaning you've known them, you've seen them. What do we call it in Nigeria? See finish. See finish. With a right? See finish. Direct correlation with attraction. Direct correlation with demand and supply. Basic economics. Anything that's readily available, we take it for granted. Even babies. If she has access to that toy or that little doll, the moment she sees somebody else's doll, she doesn't want what she has anymore. She wants the other one. Is that not the default? We're talking about Fraysexual, right? Is that not the reality? If that's the reality, what do we do with this information that it seems like we're just discovering? Right? What do we do with this information? Why is it that Trevor Noah is leaving this show? Is it boring? Right? Is it getting boring for him? Why? Remember the 6 human needs. The 6 human needs. Number 1, certainty. We want to be sure of what we're getting. in that same breath, we want variety. We don't want to be so sure. We don't want it to be predictable. It gets boring, right? 1 and 2 are almost direct contradiction to each other. The human brain is a complicated thing. We don't want it to be predictable. If it's predictable, we don't want it. Right? If it's overly supplied, it decreases in value. We don't want it. If there's less of it, suddenly we want it. It's the same way that the stock market works. It's the same way that the money in your pocket works. It's the same thing with the business that pays your salary every other 2 weeks, or every other week rather. Right? It's something you have to be aware of in every aspect of life. In it. UK people in it. Right? So let me show you this really quickly. All right, we got this article right here. Okay, this article on, where is this? The Herald.ng. If you're afraid of commitment, you might be Fraysexual. Someone who is Fraysexual typically feels sexual attraction for a person after initially meeting them, but this fades as the emotional bond strengthens. No, let's go back to that. Let's read that carefully. This is by an actual expert. I actually missed that part. I didn't see that part earlier. Let me tell you something. The way I do this is I see something is trending. I'm like, okay, this would be interesting to see, right? And then we do it together. That's how I like to do it, because I don't like to have to prepare way too much for stuff. All right. So let's see what they're saying again. Someone who is Fraysexual typically feels sexual attraction for a person after initially meeting them. Feels sexual attraction for a person, but then it fades as the emotional bond strengthens, especially sex and relationship. Explain sex and relationship expert Dr. Love. Okay, so there's actually some kind of study around this. Okay, so this is a little bit different from the way attraction works, because this says it's working in inverse direction to emotional bond. So it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit different. Okay. Let's see. It's misunderstood, says Dr. Love, because while it generally falls under the umbrella of asexuality, that is what? Very little or no sexual attraction to others. Okay, I've heard that one before. It means someone does feel sexual attraction upon meeting someone, but the attraction fades as that relationship becomes more emotionally connected. Okay, so that's what makes it weird to me. The fact that emotional connection increases as the sexual attraction decreases. That's what makes it weird to me. So let's see here. Are you Fraysexual? Nowadays it seems there is a sexuality for just about any peculiarity. So that part is weird to me too, but then we're still discovering a lot about the human experience, right? And some people hate that. I don't know why. Naturally, we're supposed to discover more and more, right? And the latest buzzword, Fraysexuality, is likely to serve as the next justification for commitment anxiety. No judgment. Okay, so if you're afraid of commitment, well, we know that that's increasing more and more every day, right? All right. Heterosexual, bisexual, homosexual, pansexual, omnisexual, asexual, androsexual. Jesus Christ. This video is going to get flagged. All of the XYs and a host of other are all slowly but surely beginning to be recognized and perhaps even acknowledged, if not fully embraced. Why not include a couple more unbelievable ones then similar to A Fraysexual? All right, let's see what this guy has to say. I'm not gonna play his audio. I'm just gonna read it to you. I think there's a caption on it, so let's go ahead and just play it. So whenever a girl says she loves him, that's the time he wants to break it off. Well, I'm not sure anyone can control attraction in the first place. So this is coming off as cap to me right now, but go ahead. He has to circle the girls out every 3 or 4 months because he has a condition called Fraysexual. Okay, so he's so much in control. He's intentional. He urges the girl not to say, not to tell, because the moment she tells him her name, it's a wrap. One day, I think all of humanity is just gonna go crazy from too much information. Too much information. Now, let's see here. Free sexuals reportedly have trouble maintaining an attraction to individuals they know. Again, this part is not exactly strange to me. This is just how attraction works. It's like it's some type of curve that actually can pick up if you wait long enough and you have enough experience. You can the attraction will pick up again because of long-term bond and just seeing the world. You've seen it all. You know that there's nothing out there on the streets. Then you can grow attraction for your spouse again. But the truth is that it actually will decline first, and potentially your relationship can be destroyed, divorce. 50% of the time. Those are the chances, right? But some people actually they manage to pick it up. 100% of all relationships will go through the dive, and then it can pick up again, right? About 50% for we know right now, especially in the Western world, can't make it to come back off the dive. Okay, people lose themselves, people fall out of love, people grow out of love, whatever real reasons, excuses that they give out there. The bottom line is that they're no longer in love. There's no more attraction, so they can't see them. At least one of them can't see themselves with that person for the rest of their lives. We know that to be the case already. The part that's a little confusing to me on this term is because now they're attaching some random doctor's name to it. Is the fact that they're saying emotional bond strengthens. If emotional bond strengthens, um, that doesn't necessarily mean you're in love. It can actually mean more hatred. Okay, emotional bond, like hate, is not. It's not. It's not. It's not mutually exclusive. Is that the word? It's not opposite of emotional bond, right? You actually have to have some weird ass emotional bond with the person you hate. The only thing that's opposite of that is indifference. If you're indifferent, like you don't care, like you don't say I don't care, you actually just don't. Okay, then we can say there's no feelings at all, right? But anyway, let's see. Once they learn anything about them, like the name, perhaps even their name, the initial attraction starts to fade. The opposite of demisexuals, never seen that before. Free sexuals are on the asexual spectrum. They have a flag and everything, which appears to be an exaggerated joke, but it's not. Okay, so you could want to identify as a free sexual if you have problems committing commitments and lose interest in people easily, to avoid the inconvenience of accountability and consequences. Oh, now we're getting to the bottom of the story, to the bottom line, right? We're getting to the real reason is people that don't want to hold themselves accountable. Or is this all a joke? I think a lot of the terminologies that are coming out in today's time and age they're mostly a joke. And by the way, that includes things like boundaries, narcissism, all this kind of stuff that people throw around when they don't want to accountability and consequences. Okay. I think the king of them is what's the phrase? Irreconcilable differences. Never mind the real reason. Never mind pride. Never mind lack of humility. Never mind lack of gratitude. You know what? We just kind of grew apart. Anyway, I'm not knocking any one of those things. You get to be right with any of this stuff. Okay? You get to be right. But that's Fraysexual. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get to this story in a second. But I want to see what y'all are talking about. Let's see what y'all are talking about. If you think you're asexual, you know,
you're right.
Let's see. All right, some people are educating us more about Trevor Noah here. This is good. I like this. I like this. Let's see. Bhagavat says it's crazy in the sense that okay, so we're talking about the attraction decreases as you know them. Yes. Well, it's crazy to me now. But maybe it will make sense more to me later. But without the emotional bond part, we're already like that. You know, we take things that we have readily available for granted, in my opinion. Uh can't wait for his movie Born a Crime. I'm gonna check it out. Thank God. Some of you. When did he indicate that he was Fraysexual? Oh no, he never did. I'm not assigning that to him. We're just talking about multiple things at the same time. Okay. I'm just saying, the fact that he couldn't commit more than 8 years. The show was live for 8 years, right? So I was basically joking. Okay. Back in the days, how long did David Letterman spend on that show? How long? What was it, like 110 years? That's what I was saying. You know, this time and age, commitment is harder, either on a job or in relationships. And I think I ascribe a lot of that to too much information. People know too much. It can be a good thing, but there's also downside to it. That's what I'm saying. Hello, hey Apan, I'm here. I'm new here. I've been a silent watcher of Obodo Yibo. Then I saw people recommend your channel in the chat. Thank you so much. Shout out to Chinye and the D-Laws and everybody that was shouting out the channel in the chat at Obodo Yibo yesterday. Thank you, Apan. You're welcome. You're welcome. Trevor is an intelligent man. That's why he's funny. Yeah. His father is from Switzerland. Maybe I saw him in the streets. Maybe. I know you live in Switzerland, right? You're originally from somewhere in Africa, but you live in Switzerland. Yeah, let's see here. I see now. So it's not that crazy at all. No, it's not as crazy as you think. I think it's already how we are. But the emotional bond part wanted to confuse me a little bit. But emotional bond doesn't mean emotional bond can be love or hate. Okay, it just means it almost means obsession, right? Is leaving and to what? There's so much more he can do. So much more. I've always been a fan of his stand-up comedy, even before he started doing the show. Yep, it's a good guy. Good guy. We can't forget his comedy shows are very successful. It was complicated to do both. Yeah, it's no way he got on that show without being successful as a comedian, stand-up comedian in the first place. Definitely. Hey, Adaya, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah. Now, who is this person? Dua Lipa. I don't know what that is. Feed me in. Let me know. Bring me up to speed. Put me up to game. It's called growing and evolving to the next big thing. American is about going after the dream. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Trevor is a young man. He might want to diversify into other things, other stuff. He has pretty much made good money from the Daily Show. Facts. Facts. But I don't. The conservatives don't like him. I don't think they like him very much. He's completely on the flip side, but I like him. Trevor knows what he wants and he's totally in control of what he's doing. He's definitely moving on to something bigger. I mean, that brand is big right now. Hello, lady Navoa. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All this sure, exactly. All this sure. Voila. Lady Navoa, thank you so much for your support here, by the way. I appreciate all your support, as usual. So with that being said, you're welcome to continue to support. All right. Let me know if you need anything in supporting us. He needs therapy. Could be a past trauma. We're talking about this guy, right? That we just played the video, right? Yeah, it's sickness. I don't know. Maybe not. We're still discovering human beings, right? Maybe I don't like to be judgmental. I don't know if you guys figure. I don't like to be judgmental. I like to take it slow unless we're always. Even the wife I've married for the past 15 years. I've been with her for 18 years. I'm still getting to know her. So I can't speak to, there's so much more. I think we'll continue to know each other for the rest of our lives anyway. And I'd rather be in that space. There's always something new with this Shua thing. Let me call it Shua before they demonetize this video. I can't wrap my head around it. Well, we're gods. We are complicated, So the idea that somebody has figured us out and is, it's all no, you two slow down. There's always more to learn. It's okay to relax, just observe, and just, maybe somebody's gonna come with YouTube Shua one day. Either way, they're all right. It's more than enough space for us to thrive in this world, right? These things are not new. They have always been there. We're just glued to this one-way notion on sexuality. I agree 100% on that. I agree. I think it's more of a natural thing when we're conformed to our ways. Change is the one constant, but yet we're very uncomfortable with change or the change in ideologies. It is what it is. He kept breaking up and getting back together with Minka Kelly, Derek Jeter's ex. Oh yeah, I saw something about that. Is that the person that was floating around a picture in the last 24 hours? They said they saw them in New York City. Well, Trevor it seems like he's a playboy, slightly. But he's a rock star, so I guess it's accepted. It's acceptable. I feel this sexuality is an excuse. There you go. One day, ampa man. Believe it or not, you and I feel the same way because I'm human like you. But I make it I'm intentional about discovery. We're always discovering new things, either physically, spiritually, mentally. So I'm always open. Being open doesn't mean I don't have my own values. I just know the difference between me saying this is what I stand for and I don't have a say on other humans' life. I just don't. That's just a fact, Is there a treatment for it or is it just a disorder? We don't know. I don't even know if it's a real time. It looks like it's all a joke so far, but we'll find out more as time goes on, right? I'm sure there's a psychologist that will sit somewhere and give all y'all more terms to help you explain it. Ola, I don't consider them as a joke. Are they real? Are they real? That's the question, because again, at the end of that article, I'm just learning about the term for the first time. At the end of that, they said accountability and something like that. So Maybe I could be wrong, They are real and probably psychological. Maybe. Again, over the next several years, I'm sure we'll find out more about it. I'm open. Maybe he just burnt out. See, we know that we get burnt out. We know that for a fact that we all get burnt out, right? I know. COVID-19 did do a lot to all of us, right? Hey, gracious greatness, my brother. Good to see you. Good evening from the other side of the world. Ogala Prestige. Aha. Waiting be freezing. I don't know. Maybe I think Adaya is gonna teach us more. Maybe she's gonna come up today and come and teach us more. Right? Let's see here. Good day. Okay. I guess he's just greeting the rest of us. Yeah. Let's see. Dua Lipa is an English singer, songwriter. Her and Trevor were kissing in New York. Yes, I saw something like that. I was like, I'm not interested in this guy's love life, Jerry. I'm interested in celebrating him as a fellow African. He's a Bororo, but we can celebrate. We claim, by the way, Nigerians, we claim everyone. Like, for example, we already claimed D'Souza, right? Nigerians, we claim everyone. We're all Nigerians, all of us. Like, we already claimed, where is he? He's over here somewhere. We're claiming this nigga right here, too. Yeah, this nigga right here. Mendral, you're a Nigerian, henceforth. Okay? We're claiming everyone. We're claiming everybody. I'll give you a name. I claimed Just J a long time ago when she was the only person here. Just J, her real name now is Jolasun. When she comes back, she'll tell you. Her real Yoruba name is Jolasun. I gave her that name. If you want a Nigerian name, just let me know. I'll give you a Nigerian name if you're not Nigerian. We claim everybody. So, by the way, Trevor Noah is Nigerian as well, This is, as a transparency is a new thing. The guy in the video was just catching Cruz. That did look like Cruz to me. Absolutely. Here we go, D'Souza. Trevor is very honest with his girlfriends. I admire that about him. Of course. He's a rock star. A lot of people can afford to be that honest. But they don't have the full chest to be that honest. Right? So, who is Queen J? Just J, is that you? Is that you calling yourself Queen J? Because I didn't know you changed your name if that's you. But you need to announce that next time. Sorry, I'm not going to be meet up as I currently don't have the privilege to leave the UK. So there's a meetup somewhere? Sadly, I can't make it over to the... I didn't know about this meetup. Who's doing this meetup? Anyway, let's get to this story. There are... I'm going to end this story. I'm going to go through this story. There's a study, and then I'm going to share the 7 relationship gaps that you need to be aware of with you. Okay? And then we'll call it a day. Okay? Last comment was for D'Souza. Okay, thank you. Yeah, well, I'm picking up stuff that's none of my business. Sorry about that. So let's get into this. First of all, shout out to Bro Patrick. Bro Patrick, you did there?
Yeah, I did.
How are you, sir? Happy weekend to you.
You too.
We made it. We made it through this week.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So make we go through this story together. You and I. I'll just read it and then we'll talk about it. Okay?
All right.
Good. Let's see here. There you go. That's the story right there. That's the story of the day. Let's see. So it says I'm 29 years old, woman in a 3-year mixed race relationship, and my boyfriend, who is 27 years old, male, makes the relationship feel like a secret. Like a secret. I haven't read it, by the way. We're reading it together. I just copied and pasted it. Okay. This is my first serious relationship and with someone out of my race. Same for him, but he has had a fling with another Asian girl before me. He's white and I'm Asian. So they're both not black. In October, it will be 3 years that we're together. He has met my parents and they love him. I have met his mom and sister. They like me. Okay. I was told that I am the first girlfriend that they really like. Surprisingly. In the beginning, they weren't okay with the fact that I was from a different race, but my boyfriend told me it was more the culture clash than and not being a Christian. Oh, wait. There are two things there, right? We have this. Let me just go ahead and bold that. We also have this, bold this. And let me make this a little bit bigger, just in case you're reading with me. And then we'll have this part right here. Oh, we have that part. Okay. As they are religious as well. I have not met his father and stepmom because they aren't okay with this relationship. And sounds like the father is very much racist. Easy. My boyfriend said I should not worry because their opinions don't matter. Wait, what? I should not worry. Because their opinions don't matter. Their opinions don't matter. Please comment as I'm reading through it. Let me know your thoughts, okay? Like, for example, the first question I have for you, ladies and gentlemen of Prestige, is that do their opinions matter? Okay, and that he will eventually come around. Also, would you take this risk? Okay, let's keep going. He has shown them and other family members from his dad's side my picture, and he said they were surprised when they seen me because I don't have typical Indian features. Oh, so she's Indian. That's what she meant by Asian. Oh. I pass off as some Middle Eastern, Mediterranean. Mediterranean? Is that how you pronounce that? Well, Middle Eastern. Let's just call it that. Whenever there are family events, gatherings on his dad's side, I don't attend them with him. Well, I can understand that. Probably not just because she doesn't want to. She's probably afraid. She probably doesn't feel safe. She doesn't feel safe, right? All right. Because I know the situation and he hasn't asked me anyway. Oh, that's another big part about it. He hasn't asked you anyway. So it's a different story if he's asking you, like, hey, be my guest to, this family event we have going on, right? It's another story if he hasn't asked you at all. So if you wanted to go, basically you're an uninvited guest. Let's keep going. We have spoken about this and he said he knows it sucks and shouldn't be this way. Wait, what? Another keyword buzz. There's a keyword right there. Shouldn't be this way, but we just need to give his dad time. There's another buzzword here. Time. I'm just going to highlight the buzzwords, okay? Then hopefully we can come back. We have enough time to come back to it. He also said everyone knows and it's okay with the relationship except his dad. Okay, well, I know the situation can be difficult because my mother, let me highlight this. This is important. Because my mother went through a similar situation. I am a product of parents from two different religious backgrounds, Muslim and Hindu. All right. I also have experience being treated differently by family because of this. Now, this thing right here is a double-edged sword. It could be she was actually treated differently or she feels like she was treated differently. It could be either of the two. Those two things are two different things, but they feel exactly the same way. Keyword being feelings. His Facebook status says single. Facebook status. I don't mean to be laughing the laughing evil. I just want you to highlight. I'm emphasizing, okay? We have spoken about this, and he said he hardly uses Facebook and he forgot to change it. Okay. But he doesn't go on it weekly. He also has never posted a picture or anything about us or being in a relationship on Instagram. Remember, there's two realities in one. There's how you feel, and there's the reality, right? This guy could be telling the truth completely, but then it's effectively creating a different result, right? In his own relationship that he will have to be responsible for. Has nothing to do with faults, blame, guilt, all those kind of things, shame. It's just a reality. When you subscribe to a relationship with another person, you are basically responsible for the results that you're both creating together. It's not about it's your fault. No, it's not about that. That word, fault, is not relevant. It's not, unless somebody has been touched physically. Okay, if we're still talking about emotionally, that word, fault, is irrelevant. Write that down in your notes. The word fault is irrelevant when it comes to romantic and emotional relationships, because anyone can claim to be the victim even without being touched physically, okay? But also they can actually be a victim in reality, okay? Because we know people that are manipulators, right? That know how to use this kind of stuff to get an upper hand, to get one up on you, right? Anyway, let's keep going. I have posted pictures sometimes in my story, but don't anymore because I don't want to seem like the one in a relationship. Okay? So she stopped posting pictures because now it's becoming a competition, right? I have posted sometimes in my story, but don't anymore. Posted pictures, but don't anymore. Okay, so it's now a competition. What do we know about relationships, romantic relationships? Once there's a competition, once there's some form of contest between each other, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I brought this up, and he said that he hardly posts of himself anyway. Then the excuse changed to his family will see that he's in a mixed race relationship and is not ready. He's not ready for it. You know, what do we know about this world we live in today? When they're not ready, you can't put them out. Even if they're dragging another human being through the mud, right? It's not ready for it. If things are good between us, and if things are good between us, I shouldn't worry. Again, that buzzword came up again. This word right here is destroys relationships. I want you to note this word. This word right here, both the positive and the negative version of it, should and shouldn't. They destroy relationships. Write that down in your notes. This word right here, I shouldn't, or I should, you should know better. This word, destroy relationships. Okay? Just write that down. We'll come back to it. Earlier this year, my cousin got married, and at the time, I asked if he would like to come with me, but he said no because he hasn't met that side of my family before, and he would feel awkward. What are you noticing about this guy so far? What are you noticing about him so far? What are you noticing about him? Okay? I mean, he's saying no to a lot of stuff. Let's keep going. Everything else is good in our relationship. It shows that he cares, makes an effort, pushes and helps me with my career. Even booked us a weekend away. I bet he doesn't want to take pictures when you're on that weekend away. Of course, listen, he's with you because he's getting some type of value. But clearly you're not getting the value that you need. All right, but doing family events separately, not posting a single thing about us or any sign that he's in a relationship is bothering me. Now let's go back to this really quickly. she shouldn't be bothered, right? After all, all these things are true, right? He shows he cares, right? Good. Everything else is good. This part right here, this whole thing. He's a good guy, right? He's a good guy. It's a good guy, right? So she shouldn't be bothered. That word came up again, shouldn't. But doing family events separately, not posting a single thing about us or any sign that he is in a relationship is what? Bothering me. It feels like our relationship is a secret from his social media and doesn't want people to know. By the way, what some people enjoy about certain types of relationship is the fact that it's a secret. The moment you remove this element, they don't want it anymore. Remember Fraysexual? Okay, it's not relevant. Sorry. Let's leave Fraysexual alone. His stepmom told him he shouldn't bring another girl home again after his past relationships, unless it's the one he plans to marry. Oh, he's a player. He's been bringing girls home. So even his family is frowning at the fact that he's bringing different girls home. See, there's a different detail here you should be paying attention to if this is you. Okay? The fact that the race, the culture, all this kind of should be the least of your issues right here. But anyway, let's keep going. He also wants me to move in. Wait, what? See, this is confusing. Wants me to move in and has plans for a future together. The question is when? God, when? When? Anyway, I have brought this up asking if he's ashamed of me being a different race and if he's pretending to be single on social media. He said no. Remember, he says no a lot. That's like his favorite thing to say, right? He said no. Ashamed of me. That's a big one right there. Remember, this doesn't have to be the reality, but the feelings is just as real as if it was true. As a matter of fact, the feelings is worse because she will never know. Right? And can I not see the effort if he puts into can I not see the effort he puts into the relationship? And he would change his status and post something to make me happy. I know people that hate this part, make me happy. They don't like to see that. That's another buzzword or buzzword phrase. They don't like to see that. The truth is that your surroundings does affect your happiness. That's the reality. But he hasn't done neither. I do see good we have, but all this has me feeling confused. All right. Now, before I come to you, Brother Patrick, that's the end of it right there. Before I come to you, let me see what people are saying. I know you guys have been paying attention. Let me just see. Let's remove this. And I have Brother Patrick on the screen with me there. Let's see. Let me know your thoughts, okay? Let me know your thoughts so far. I know Adaya says Asians, most especially Chinese and Japanese, are not so open to interracial relationships. I have heard that from many of my Chinese friends. They're not, for the most part. But I'm not sure to what extent, because I don't think there's any race in the world that's really that open. I think for the most part, most people want to stay within their race. Most people. But I don't know the numbers. No, it's not their choice to make. It is not. You sure about that? We'll find out in a second, right? Because I actually have a study with 1,000 votes, and we're going to look at those numbers in a second. I told my ex if his family doesn't like me, we're breaking up. I can't deal with racism inside of my family unit. Thank God. They're actually good people. Oh, that's awesome. That's a good testimony. Families do come around with time, though. The question is that, are you willing to take the risk? Is it worth taking that risk? But Patrick, let me know your thoughts at this point.
Yeah, thank you. Ola.
Yes,
Actually,
sir.
I took down some major points. Yeah, I'm going to say the relationship is on a shaky foundation for some reason. Like the guy can't make decision by himself. It's like the guy wants affirmation from his family first. The girl is 29 and the guy is 27. These are mature adults.
Yes.
He's talking about his stepmother, his father, if they're going to accept.
It's 27.
Yeah. And the girl is 29. The girl should be more matured,
Yeah.
She's an Indian lady. So a lot of Indians are open now. If they are based in the States and she's gone that far with the guy, that means she's open.
Right.
Yeah. The parent will have gone ahead and looked for somebody for her, but at that age, she's independent and she's putting in more.
Right.
So, but is the guy that I'm more concerned about. It's not posting the girl and her Facebook status. This says he's single. You don't want her to attend family function. Why? He's behaving like a baby.
Like a little boy, exactly. Yes.
You want to hang out with your girlfriend. To occasion, let her be by your side. Introduce her to your uncle or whoever. If you are matured enough. Why hiding that? She's 29. She's not growing any younger.
Yeah. It seems like he'd rather do a weekend getaway where nobody will see them.
Yes, and the girl, the girl made it that way for why doing getaway with somebody and not showing you to his family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What kind of getaway is that? Getting away from people, that's not the need, And the relationship, like I watched Steve Harvey a lot. He said after college, there's no more girlfriend, boyfriend. Let's define our relationship.
Yeah, after college. That means we're talking about after 21, 22, ideally, right? I agree 100% with that.
And she's 29.
Yeah.
The guy is 27. For them to be doing getaway, the guy has a job, probably a good job. The lady too. So why not define a relationship?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our biological clock is, running. So why? What is the big deal? And the guy stick to him. So he has not invited her to family functions. You know what I mean? Family events.
Right. It's different. It's different if the girl doesn't want, right, and the girl is comfortable with their status. But if the girl is starting to complain that she wants clarity on their status, that's a big problem.
Yeah, that's it. Let the girl sit him down. Say, where are we heading to? What is going on? She doesn't have to post all this. Let her talk to the guy. That's her life.
I mean, based on the story, she's been talking. He keep ducking. He's saying no. He's saying I have to wait. They will come around, right? That's what he's been telling the girl.
I tell you, if they are married, when they want to make major decision, that's how the guy will be saying no before that will be big.
Thank you. Yep. They show the behavior right now. They're telling you who they are going to likely be. The fact of the matter is that every relationship will have crisis. That's a fact of life. But how, as a man, how is he going to handle it like a man? He's telling you how we handle crisis. The fact that his family is probably not going to accept is a crisis. But the way he's handling right now is the way we handle every other crisis that comes their way into the future.
So the guy should be able to stand as. I'm going to give you one example.
Yes.
My wife is here listening to me.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out to your wife.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. She's hearing you. When we're into courtship, when we're fully engaged, my dad, I love my dad. Very nice man. We are very close.
Right.
My dad called me and said, Patrick, what are you doing? Are you
Mm.
not going to query why your wife? I said, she's not my wife. I can't. Brother. I said,
Mm.
no. My dad, what's wrong? What kind of Christian are you? I was even a pastor. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
And my dad telling that to my face.
So you were being celibate at the time.
Yeah, and my dad
Okay.
said, he said even his cousin had a baby on the day of their wedding. I said, well, that's your cousin. I'm not your cousin, Dad.
Right,
He
right.
said, no. He said, no, I'm too slow. I said, no, I'm sorry. I love you, Dad, but we don't do that.
So
I'm not going to
sorry to ask you, sir, how old were you at this point?
I was in my 30s.
No. Baba shouldn't be asking that question. I like Baba. He was like, Baba, what do you mean? I like, Baba, you know now, as your more let me now. Am I worried if I have that
I
one?
know, my dad was kind of no. And before then, and like I said, I had a girl that we were courting about, something happened, we have to break up. I said, no, I can't marry this.
Right.
So my dad was like, why did you just allow that one to go and look at this one now? I said, I'm sorry, sir. I love you, but no. That's me. Your cousin could go ahead and, okay, my dad just said, let me just leave it, do your thing. I'm a young man. What kind of testimony will I be giving? Even I can't be doing that.
Right.
So my dad,
based on your faith, you definitely you demonstrated, because this was your faith, this is something you practiced, you demonstrated the values of the faith you were practicing with your full chest. And that's part of being a man,
So if your dad could do that, so the guy should be a man. That's what I'm saying. The guy, what kind of relationship? And the girl herself should take a stand and say, no, I'm not.
When you become a woman of a certain age, see, if she was 23, 24, 22, I said, I'm going to just let that guy go. But when you become a man or a woman of a certain age, and time is becoming a factor for you as an individual, then you need clarity. You need clarity. And if a man can't bring you clarity, let me tell you something. You will question his manhood later. If you squeeze it in and you go marry that kind of person, you will find yourself in a position where you have to continue to question his manhood. Because one of the things that makes you a man is knowing what you want and standing by it, and say, hey, this is what I like. If you like a girl, you can say, even if the girl rejects you, you're able to say, I like you. And if she says no, you're okay with that. That's part of being able to practice. I think Mindrell and I were talking about it. Rejection being a part of life, right? So we're now on the flip end of it, where this guy cannot even face his own parent that he grew up with to say, this is the girl I like. Being able to say, this is the girl I like. Now, understandably so, because race and religion can be a very complicated thing. But that's why I called it crisis.
Yeah, bro, the first sign to show that a man really loves you, and the man is into you. Even Steve Harvey said it. For him to introduce you to his parent as number one, man, he's just like, yeah, this is the main woman. Yes. Your parents, especially the mom. The mom, by the time my mom give you, okay. By the time the mom nod her head, say, yeah, this is a nice girl.
Right. But you're selling that girl to them subconsciously, because to a large extent they're also measuring the posture when you're presenting that lady, right? They're measuring it. If you come off as you're not too sure, they will catch that fire too. They'll be like,
yes,
they'll be like, are you sure that's the girl? They will say things like, are you sure? Like, but if you come and say, this is the girl I want to, this is the girl I'm with, I like her, I like her very much, that will influence them. Even if they were going to say no naturally, they will, even then they will be scared of saying no to you, even if there's a real thing, like a real complicated thing like race or religion, right? They will now have to go back and think about how to tell you that we don't think you should be with that person. If you show up with some confidence that this is the person I want, right? But if you show up with the flip side of that, like if you go and ask them, what do you think? They're like, what do you mean? What do I think? Uh, are you sure that's the girl you want? Because they can feel that lack of confidence
Yes.
in your presentation. So it's actually your job to sell what you want. And if you don't feel strong enough about the girl to sell her to your parents, don't go near it. Like leave it, let her go so that she can find somebody, right?
In those days, people don't in olden days, people don't sell the lady they meet.
Mm.
They bring them to their parents or to a senior person for them to evaluate the girl.
Back then, yes. Back
Back
then, that's the
then,
way.
you
Yes.
understand? Back then,
Yes.
people
Yes.
just bring her along. They do that to my mom a lot.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's the
Yes.
kind of person that doesn't talk. She's so quiet. She
Mm-hmm.
doesn't, and people like her for that. She doesn't make trouble. So, a lot of men, adult men,
Mm-hmm.
bring their girlfriend and say, "Mama, I'm bringing one girl. Oh, please
Uh-huh.
help me entertain and kind of evaluate her. Give me
Yes.
feedback." Are you
So
getting me?
so so now I get you. So now back then it's a little bit different.
Yes.
But even back then, even when I say the way you present, it's not more so what you say, it's about their feeling on your energy. So even when you bring your girl or your girl to be and you say, "Ah, Mama, eba me yewo," they can
Yeah.
see a smile on your face. They can see your vibe. Your vibe about this girl is already selling them, right? So they still don't want you to come off as you are afraid. Even though you're saying evaluate, they may want to check the family, they may want to check what background they come from, but they still need you to feel before you are presenting the girl, they need to be able to feel that you're confident about what you're presenting. And not just
That's why a man comes in.
yes.
Maybe your parents are classical, you know what I mean? And
They're traditional.
they don't believe in long nails, painting of lips, do your hair.
Right. Right.
But you say,
Right.
Mama, those ones are just outward appearance. This a fine,
This is a fine woman. This is a good girl.
good girl.
This is she's well trained.
Yes. And the girl
I
will
want you to
just
get to know her.
by the time she comes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Right.
I can imagine a lot taking your girlfriend to your mom.
Mm-hmm.
In like 10 minutes, they begin to bond. Say, Mama, what can I help you to do?
Mm-hmm.
Can I help you to do this? This guy's so fast, they're just talking.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Mama from there too, Mama will be able to even evaluate, also have some other questions.
Right.
Getting
Right.
to know. Yes. And so
But
Mama,
they're also bouncing off of I want to be clear about this. They're bouncing off of your level of confidence when you presented her. Right?
and they even know you, Ola, your mom know you.
That's true. They know you too.
Yeah, they know
That's
you.
true.
They know what to fit you, what you like. And
Yes.
above all, they'll even be praying if you are from a Christian home.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it doesn't even matter whether you are a lot of mothers, they pray for their
Yeah.
for their son or their wife or their
So
daughter
true.
to get married to somebody,
So true.
that will not
So
get
true.
problem. They pray for them.
Yes. Yeah, they're praying.
So
They're
goes
in
a
that they're
long
on
way.
that journey with you. They're on that journey. Now with
God
this
bless
now
that's the word.
with this race and religion and 5 other gaps that I will share in a second. What are your do you think people should, because for those of us that are Christian, we know what is this Second Corinthians? Do not be unequally yoked, something like that, right?
Yeah, do not be unequally yoked with unbeliever. Yeah.
Right. What is your take in terms of unequally yoked when it comes to a future partner, marriage, long-term relationships?
Well, when it comes to relationship,
Mm-hmm.
yes, God really matters. Your heart, what you want. Let me give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
I had one mama before I got married. She was like a mother to me.
Okay.
I'm from Edo State, she's from Ogun State. But these are the women that sat down. Sat down in the front when I was getting married by the grace of God. An elderly woman, 80 something. And she couldn't even call me by my name. She called me by my I said, Mama, I said, no, you are my pastor. The only thing this mama says, Pastor, please pray for my son in England to have a good wife. But every time I call her, please, sir. I said, no, you're my. He said, pray. When the son got married, and they moved to US, and the mama came, the son's actually a doctor. The mama shouted, say, God answer prayer. Say, this lady, oh my God. For the mama to be saying so, she's taking care of me. She treated me good. Are we getting it? So, what I'm trying to say in essence, I'm not going to say Christian go and marry a Muslim.
Right.
And there'll be conflict of.
Yeah, I want you to talk about the conflict itself, not particularly
Yes.
about the actual faith, but the conflict that can, the upside of that, and even if there's the downside of that, rather, the downside of that, and if they don't have a choice, how do they mitigate? It's a big risk. How do you mitigate that risk?
Yeah, it depends on the man, you know. You know, the Bible says, follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. I know it is the faith. He said, if a woman got married to an unbeliever, the scriptures, it is the faith of the woman. You know, you know, number one, religion and love. If you love somebody,
right,
and that person loves you, you can do everything for one another.
Yes.
And there will be mutual respect. Yes.
Yes.
A lot of pastors, let me tell you, I'm not going to mention the name. One pastor, a well-known pastor in Nigeria. Very known pastor. One of the people that followed him abroad is a pastor, senior pastor. You know what the wife did? The wife went to the pastor and said, well, I'm not going to divorce this man, but we can't live together again. Are you getting me? Even though they are both Christian, a well-known top, one of the people that followed the man, a well-known general overseer, I'm not going to mention the name, but the pastor followed, the wife said, Daddy, I'm sorry, this is we've had children for ourselves, but I'm not going to divorce this man, but I'm not going to stay with him again. We can't stay together again. And the general overseer has no choice. He can't do anything about it. She knows what he's saying. You know, when the woman begins to talk, the man opens his mouth and says, oh my God. Yeah. So it's left to somebody else to make that decision. But you know, there are some conk, you know, there are some fanatics that, you know,
fanatics, like they're very stunned.
But
Allah, yeah.
Yeah, the Spirit of God in you.
Right.
Whatever you want to do, let the Spirit of God to lead you. Which is very important. Your faith might go ahead to change whoever you are. No, I've never seen this man before. Yes, let me give you an example. I'm still here. One of my friends, sister, got married to a guy. So his name is Akim. Are you hearing, brother?
I'm hearing you. I'm listening. Yeah.
The guy's name is Akim. He's a Muslim. So before you know it, they were going to church together. Are you know Badari, Baba Badari?
Yeah, Badari, yes.
Yes, they were
I'm from Akure, so I know.
Yes, they were going to Badari together, you know. And the guy, very quiet, you know what I mean, but from his very strong Muslim background, they got married. Bro, on the day of their naming ceremony, I was there. The church came and did the naming. The senior sister of that guy said, no way, Akim. You the son of an Afar. So the Afar came.
Yeah.
The Afar came.
It still happens like that. It's a lot less, but it still happens like that.
So the Afar came and they did their Muslim something again. I said, what? You know what break the camel's back, brother?
What?
The group I am sitting with, the guy had a kettle with beer in it. We start. So the guy would just come there with his friends and say, man, I know, I'm just pretending. I will drink the beer. I said,
right. Hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. Let me capture some of this comment.
Yes.
Queen J says the guy should have a stand in the relationship between his family and his woman. Demand is respect. Yes,
Very
absolutely.
good.
This
100%
is
right.
this is 100% related to respect. If you
Yes.
can't have a stand between you and your family, she can't respect you. She probably doesn't see that she has options right now, so she's still hanging in there. But there's no way she can respect you if you can't even face your own family, you know. And I'm talking to you ladies as well. You can't over the long term, you're going to lose respect for this guy if he can't present you properly to his family. The red flags are showing now, but she's ignoring them. You have it, yeah. She is, but she's not ignoring them. It's more so like these things are easier said than done. But again, with time, if she ends up marrying this guy or just do some kind of crazy elope, it's gonna backfire really badly because that's who he is, right? Was he desperate for a grandchild?
Mm.
I'm not sure what part of the story we were in when you said that. That was like 20 minutes ago, unfortunately. Sorry about that. The guy depends too much on the validation of his family. The keyword phrase is too much. Absolutely, I agree. He's not mature enough to take a decision for himself. Yes, but I doubt if he's 27, a 27-year-old man is a grown ass man. Okay? If he's not able to make that kind of decision at 27, he's probably, keyword, always going to struggle with making a decision for himself and his family, you know? My aunt told me, treat marriage like a business.
Wow.
Right. It's,
Voila.
we see how far that goes. I see a lot of people pushing that. Marriage is much more. Marriage is an institution. It's not a business. An institution is much more bigger than a business. A business, we can shut it down. We can. Marriage, you have to treat it like an institution. It's grounded in covenant. It's grounded in, you know, to a large extent, it's about life and death, right? Because you're going to bring babies into this world. It's not going to be that easy for you to exit a marriage like you could shut down a business, right? So I see people throwing that around, but I get it. It depends on the context, you know. But I think I'd rather treat marriage like an institution, which means you understand there's a constitution of some sort. There's some kind of ideology of faith based that you need to both subscribe to. Um, you can divide partnerships up if it's not working. Marriage is a little bit harder to divide up. Even if you leave the house, it holds on to your neck, emotionally speaking, right? It's not that simple, you know. So um, when you say marriage is a business, marriage is not your mate. Let me just say that. If you can't fight for me against your family, how could I depend on you through life? Exactly. Nope, you're a people pleaser. You're hitting it on the nail. Exactly. People pleaser. See, I was talking to my wife today earlier about the people pleasing thing. To a large extent, we do that. That's why we do packaging, we do presentations, right? But there's a point you get to with people pleasing that you're going to choke yourself to death. It's just not sustainable. Because you can never please people. At some point, you have to say, oh, you know, I can't, you can't take. Kò sọ́gbọ́n tó lè dá, kò síwá tó lè wù. Don't take me there. Nope, you're a people pleaser. A backbone is definitely a deal breaker for me. I agree 100%. If you have a new product suggestion you want the executives to approve, you present it with confidence. Fact. The same you should for marriage. My aunt's words were when I was younger. Okay, I agree with your aunt in that sense. That's why I said it depends on context. Thank you so much for the clarification. Unequally yoked to me means have similar values and mindset. That's what it means to me too. Okay, so that scripture actually speaks to anyone from any faith, as far as I'm concerned. When you really think about it deeply, it's not about any one faith. In my interpretation of it, obviously for Christians, that's what it means, unbeliever. But if you're not aligned in values, it's going to backfire. You
Let
know.
me say something about that, bro. Like,
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna rephrase my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
It's very dicey.
Hmm.
Don't try it.
Don't try it.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Though, like children should not try this at home. You have to do. Yes, I agree 100%. And I'm going to talk about all the gaps in a second. There's 7 of them I've identified. It's probably more. It's probably 2,000 more. I'm going to identify 7, and I definitely want to hear your thoughts on them as
It
well.
does work for some people, but most people, especially women, they are very emotional.
I mean, I'll even tell you what, because again, my father-in-law is a Muslim.
Yeah, you are talking
But
from experience.
Yeah, it created a hiccup for our marriage. So,
Yes.
yeah, right about that 5 years mark, it created a massive hiccup for our marriage. So, sometimes I say I'm lucky, but I also like to tell people that there's skill set, there's some things we learn. Because some
Very
people want
good.
to run, some people want to run with, oh, you're just so lucky. No. Stop the cap. There's some things you need to learn. If you find yourself in this situation, and you find that, I'm already in it. That's why I don't. When people start to bring in vets, I say, calm down. People in it already in it, right? Let's talk about what they could do if they're already in it. Not you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. They know that already. Remember, I told you that the word should and shouldn't are dangerous and they destroy relationships. So now the only thing that person can see is negative about their relationship when you're busy telling them they shouldn't do something or it shouldn't be a certain way or why are you worried about should or shouldn't? What is the reality? How can you fix the situation? What are the solutions?
Bro, yeah. Thank God that your wife is in faith. See. As it? Yeah. As it? Thank God that your wife is in faith. So
yeah, she was always in faith. Let me even tell you a deeper one, right? She was always a Christian, right? So I thought I escaped it. You know, after all, my wife is a Christian, right? But the father is a Muslim, right? And it still affected us, right? So again, children should not play with this at home. If you already know, don't play with this at home, right? But if you're already in that situation, there are ways to mitigate and walk through it, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes here, you know. But yes, that's a good one right there. Let's see. With aspirations and a line, I agree 100%. Apa. What is the difference between an institution and a business? An institution is like the judicial institution, like the whole thing that like nation building. We're thinking nation building now, not just building a business. You can shut down a business, and you know it's not a big deal. You can even start another one immediately. You can start another institution altogether without destroying lives along the way. Yeah, the casualties are a lot more, right? You know, when people say you shouldn't stay because of children, it's not that simple. Sometimes those children are going to be the source of the strength you need to pull that marriage through. While I still agree that no, it shouldn't be the only reason why you should stay in a marriage, but it could be that little one last string that you need to build off of, because children are that powerful, right? Again, we're talking life and death, right? It's a lot harder to erase a whole nation. You can't just change. You can't just say, oh, one arm of the government is not going to be judicial anymore. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. That's how I look at marriage. It's just an outlook. Of course, you can destroy a marriage by just going to the divorce court, right? Or being attached to your own ideas of being right. Of course, you can destroy like that, right? But that's what makes it not a business. That's actually part of what makes it not a business. It's very delicate. It's a lot, right?
Marriage is what makes a nation.
Yeah.
In a nation, we have children coming in that makes up a nation. You know what I mean?
It's literally nations. It's literally nations. It's literally like coming together and creating marriage with a person is literally nation building.
Yes.
You can't claim the same thing about business. Business is purely for profit.
Yes, just perfectly right. And it can be dissolved.
Can be dissolved just like that. All you have to do is don't work it again. Don't allow customers in anymore. right? So yeah, it's just quite different. My analogy may be all over the place. I just don't see it the same. I'm sorry, but that's just my personal opinion anyway. When I said marriage, I meant marriage proposal, not the actual marriage itself. Proposal, bitibao. But no, you already clarified about your auntie, by the way, that your auntie was absolutely right in terms of business, and I agree with that 100%. I do think that the minimum you have to treat a marriage like a business, the minimum, right? At the minimum, you should take it that seriously, right? So in that sense, I 100% agree. The Bible verse isn't for relationships alone. Yes, 100%. It's like partnership in business too. If you are not aligned in values, don't create a business partnership with a person. It's going to backfire. In every aspect of life, you just cannot be with someone whose values don't align with yours. I 100% agree with that. So I want to share this the 7 relationship gaps. You remember that video that Auntie B did about the 21 years relationship gap? You were on that. You got on that stream, right, Brother Patrick?
I was watching. I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. You didn't say anything. Okay, yeah. So the 21 years gap. That was just one of the 7, right? Of course, somebody is 21, you're 41, and the other person is 20. Right? It's a lot. It's a lot. A lot of people think it's just age ain't nothing but a number. I always push against that. Age is absolutely much more than a number. Absolutely. We're talking about experience. We're talking about maturity. Some people will now say, but just because you are of age doesn't mean you're mature or experienced. Actually, it means exactly that. When everything else being equal, it means exactly that. Now, if you're saying some 25-year-old seems more mature than some other 25-year-olds, you're right. You're right? But in the grand scheme of everything else being equal, a 25-year-old person is much more mature than a 12-year-old person. I don't know why we like to argue about. I think we're just looking for excuses to avoid accountability. You're right. And something that's so obvious right there in our face, we look for semantics to age. Is much more than just a number. We're talking about a whole person's life. We're talking about how long they've spent here. And you're right, there's some fools at 60. But typically, that's not the case. Typically, a 60-year-old man brings a certain level of wisdom. Even if the wisdom is from failure. Yoruba people say, "Tomode ba lasho ju agbalagba lo, kò lè ní àkísà ju àgbàlagbà lọ."
Yeah.
Let me translate. Let me try. It's always a struggle for me.
A child cannot have rag more than the elder.
Yes, even if you have more Gucci belts than the elder, you cannot have more rags than the elder. Right? So when we go age ain't nothing but a number, it's cap at best. It's basically cap at best.
Stop the cap.
All right. So now with that being said, I think 21 years age gap typically we create issues. They may be able to get through it, just like we're just saying about religion, right? There are some of them that have successfully gotten through it. Maybe the guy is now 80 years old and the wife is 60 years old and they've been together for 40 years. They do exist. But go and talk to them. There was some hiccups that almost took their marriage out. Talk to them personally. Just say, hey, tell me how the age gap may have created some, and you guys are beautiful, right? May have created some hiccup in the past. And then they would start to tell, you are right. I'll tell you this one story. Right? So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying be aware. Awareness is half the battle won. Just by being aware that this is a real thing. Like each one of these 7 things I'm about to share with you, they are real things and they can absolutely take out your relationship. Why? Because at least one person will feel a certain type of way. No, it can't be. That's because you're thinking it's just you. There's another person involved. At least one person will feel some type of way at some point because of this misalignment. in values, in what was the other word? Values, Sha. But particularly wherever this dimension is, this gap dimension is that I'm about to share with you. All right. So the first one on this list, the 7 relationship gaps, is not compatibility, okay? The reason why I put compatibility here is that when there's a misalignment here in any one of these gaps, sometimes people call it compatibility, like we're not compatible. Any one of this, they will just call it we're not compatible. But the truth is that you might have 2 or 3. Any successful relationship you've ever seen will have 2 or 3 of these things misaligned. Right? The alignment's no deal right. Like the alignment of a car. What happens when the alignment of a car is not right? Once you hit that 55 miles per hour, you start to shake. Right? And what do you have to do? You have to go back to the mechanic. They have to align the wheels. Right? So now it's not 4 wheels. It's at least 7. There's probably 2,000 more. Okay? But if you're aware about this 7, you'll be fine. Okay? The first one is actually culture. Culture. Good old culture. Right? It was one of the things that guy brought up, that it wasn't more about race. That was one of the excuses he gave. That it wasn't so much about race. I'm trying to dig it up right now. He said it was much more about the culture. He said this was exactly what he said in the beginning. They weren't okay with the fact that I was from a different race. The lady is saying that. But my boyfriend told me it was more the culture clash and not being a Christian. But that's like potato. It's the same thing. Okay? A lot of people's culture is aligned with their faith, their religion, right? Sometimes, like if you go to the northern part of Nigeria, a lot of what they call culture is aligned with the Islamic faith. A good chunk of it, right? It's different, but it's quite, so it's the same thing, right? Culture, what are the practices? What are the customs, right? Where you're from, ladies kneel down for elders. And where she's from, they don't kneel down for elders. Not only that, she's not the type of chick who embraces other people's culture. You're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem for a fact. You're going to have a problem. If you're going to cross this line, make sure you have the personalities. There are people like that. I know them. Make sure you have the personality of being able to embrace other people's culture. You can't be like, oh, Eba. What is Eba? I don't eat Eba. Like me right now, I don't eat Indian food. I just don't. I'm not attracted to it. The last thing I would ever want to do is go and marry an Indian chick. That's going to be coming off as offensive. So we now go to a family gathering and say, I can't eat that food. I said, go and buy me burger. That's extremely offensive. If you know you have the personality that you can't embrace certain major part of someone's culture, don't do it. Irregele, stop everything you're doing and back off from that relationship, because it's not the food that's going to cause problem 5 years later, but it's that same behavior. It's going to show in other aspects of life. You're just not that person. You should probably stick with your culture. That's one type of relationship gap. The second one is obvious: religion. Faith. Right? It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Now, if you're the type of chick that you don't mind, you're from a Christian home, but you don't mind wrapping a quick scarf around your head and you want to sit on the mat and pray with them, by all means, you're probably going to be better. But most people are not like that. Most people are comfortable in their own little zone. In fact, what makes who they are is these things: culture and religion. But yet, they want to fall in love with somebody from a different religion. So if you already found yourself in this, how do you fix it? Well, a house divided against itself cannot stand. You're now responsible to bring some unity. How do you do that? If you're the one listening to this, you have the power to do it. embrace that other person's religion. It's not going to kill you, trust me. If the relationship has not killed you yet, embracing what they stand for that's really causing a hiccup. Embracing doesn't mean you believe all the way and you have to now go and find 7 Windias. That's not what it means. It just means you're empathetic to the fact that you respect their religion and you're willing to participate if there's any family event or anything like that. Right? If you're not willing to do that, it's very simple. Stay within your... In fact, don't you dare cross your denomination, because the same thing is true for denomination level. If you're a Pentecostal, you go marry a Catholic, you're going to have problems. Especially if you're not able to embrace the other person's doctrines. I'm just going to group that under faith. But even down to level of denominations. Like I said, I'm a Catholic, but I'm going to go marry a girl from Redeem. Brother, I have tons of stories. It's going to create a hiccup and it's going to come from a blind spot. Like, for example, the one I told you, my wife is actually a Christian. Mine came from the blind spot. The fact that the parents are Muslims. I couldn't have vetted that. Nobody prepared me for that. And even if they did, I was in love. I'm just being honest with you, okay? So I probably would have justified it with some bullshit. This one is obvious. Race. The skin color. It's a real thing. Like, what, we're going to pretend that that's not a real thing? Skin color. Right? It's not as real as we make it out to be, but it is as real as our feelings. We're just more comfortable with people we identify with as human beings. It's just a reality. If you're Indian, you're typically much more comfortable around other Indians. It doesn't matter if you came to college in the United States. They all hang out with each other. The school that I went to was full of Indians. They all hang out with each other. That's not cap. The same thing with all the Africans, right? It's just a reality of things, right? So if you're going to cross that line, it's the same thing. You have to be aware that this will potentially create a hiccup, and be open. Embrace their culture, be comfortable in your own skin, rather. If you have, your insecurities will creep up on you and will test you. Every time you're like, oh, they're sneezing because I am black. Right? Even when it has nothing to do with that. Number 4, distance. That is a gap. Long distance relationships. You're in Nigeria, the other person is Australia. Again, these things they make it easier for your insecurities to rise to the top. Okay? How come you didn't pick up the phone? It's been only 2 minutes. You've only called twice in the last 20 minutes. He didn't pick up the phone. Who knows? Maybe he's sleeping. Maybe he's taking an afternoon nap. Who knows? Maybe he's smashing another chick. Right? Your mind will create about 200 Nollywood movies of what are the possible. And those Nollywood movies, they're not going to be the best case scenario. They're not. They're not going to be the best case scenario. Those things you're making up in your mind are going to be the worst case scenario. That's just how the mind works. So should you be with somebody long distance? If you're in love with them and you're able to work on your own personal insecurities and you're able to be deliberate when it comes to trust and understand that you will still be tested, knock yourself out. I'm just saying, if you have other issues, and this is just one of them, it's probably going to work against you. It's just another form of gap, another dimension of gap that creates serious troubles in people's relationships to be aware of. Let's talk about intimacy. Another gap, another form of intimacy. Just add sex onto this. Some people like to do it 3 times a day. You don't want to touch that person for once a month is perfectly fine for you. There will be troubles. There will be troubles. Why? It's not because they should be fine with it. You're right. The word should is a red flag. The fact is that two. The actual fact is one of two. They may not be fine with it, or they are not fine with it. Sometimes they don't realize they're not fine with it until 7 years into the marriage. Now they're feeling starved. What did they say? They say, she's weaponizing it against me. But you always knew that this guy wanted to do it you always knew that it was like that, right? Or she was like that, by the way. There are many ladies that are not getting enough because the guy is Fraysexual. See finish, don't enter. Right? It's like, I know you, so I'm not sexually attracted like that. I just do it out of routine. If this is a problem already, it's something that should be addressed. You should prepare for it. You should be aware that it can potentially create a big division. A house divided against itself cannot stand. This part is a really, really big deal. Let me tell you something about sex and intimacy. The problem is finding your way to actually do it. The problem is everything before you actually get it done, right? If you can figure out everything, both of you together, if you can figure out everything all the way to getting it done from time to time, everyone feeling like their sexual needs are being satisfied, you'll be together for the rest of your life. Because if you can figure everything else out, like the mental part, right, that leads down to that, and you get it done, you guys, just for that reason alone, you'll be together for a long time. The problem is that there's a lot of things you have to figure out to get it done, and a lot of people are too lazy or are not capable of the mind stimulation to actually get to do it, right? It's routine for one person, so they like once every month. The other person's like, Jesus Christ. Right? If there's a big gap here, it's going to cause problems. This one is a big one. Lifestyles. You know you don't like smoking, the other person smokes. And you're like, after all, people smoke. It's no big deal. They like smoking weed for leisure. And you say, after all, it's not really a big deal. But inside of your heart, you know that you don't like the smell. It's not the smoking that will cause problem later. Okay? It's eventually, sometimes you're going to be irritated. It's just, you're moody. And the one thing you're probably going to blame it on is those gaps. The culture, the religion, the race, the distance, intimacy, the weed. You're going to blame it on something. And that's one of the easiest things to blame it on. The lifestyle. He likes staying out at night. All the way until you got married. The night of your marriage, he was out late. Somehow, like 11 years later, you think you can change him just like that without him wanting to change. Without a real sense of value in changing. It's not going to work. Lifestyle. There's lifestyle gaps. The way you guys live, you guys don't align in lifestyle. Like, he's a smoker. It's he likes to travel a lot. You don't want to travel. You hate the airport. There are people that have figured that out. They say, like for example, Will Smith and the wife. He likes to travel and jump from the plane and all this kind of stuff. She just likes to be at home, right? But they also have the longevity and all kind of tests, the worst test any marriage can go through. And they are now in a space where they say, you have the freedom to do you. When you come back to me, I'm always here for you. Most marriage cannot withstand that. Okay? It takes a lot to get into that place where you love in a way that the other person feels free, right? Most marriages within the first 7 years cannot do that. By the way, when the problems start coming, they won't be able to explain it. They won't be able to put it into words. They just know there's a problem. They just know that it feels toxic. They just know that something is wrong. They call it we're growing apart. Right? Because why? They couldn't really pinpoint what is it. They don't feel attracted to the person anymore. Last but not least, you guessed it right. Your guest is as good as my age. age is a big deal. It's it's just always better to be around the same range, 5 plus or minus 5 years, And in the society, dare I say, in the society we live in right now, still, I don't know about 50 years from now, I think it's still much more beneficial for the man to be older than the woman. Of course, they're breaking down rules right now. But anytime you break rules, here's what I tell you. Just be ready to create new rules. As long as you're okay with creating your own new rules, that will work. Because remember, the new rules you're creating is not being tested. So now, in addition to creating the rules, now you have to be able to withstand all the tests that will come with the fact that this guy thinks every time you tell him to remove his shoes, he thinks you're talking at him because he's younger. He's like, why are you talking to me like that? Because you're older? He doesn't say it out in words. It shows up in his vibes. It shows up in his behavior, right? He feels some type of way because you're just saying, hey, remove your shoes. Whereas if he was older, it wouldn't be an issue. It's just the social construct that we're in right now. You just need to be aware. That doesn't mean you can't fall in love as a lady with somebody younger. I'm just saying there are new rules that you have to create and they have to be tested. These are the forces. These are 7 forces that can work for or against your relationship. At the end of the day, I tell people, you have to understand that success is about positioning. It's not about what you can do intentionally. When you position yourself for success, you will increase the chances of succeeding, right? You want to swim against the ocean, you better know what you're doing because it's very likely you will drown. But Patrick, that's it. That's what I have. I want to know your thoughts so far.
You made a valuable point. I just want to talk about race and distance.
Race and distance.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to give an example of Charlie Boy. Charlie Boy is with his African-American woman in Nigeria. So after you get married to an Indian, Indian decided to leave America for India. You're going to be there with him,
all by yourself. Everything you ever knew, you're not going to see them close nearby anytime. Sometimes that's what you need to fall on when life gets tough.
Yes.
You just look around, you say, I see people I can relate with. But imagine, because life is going to get tough for everyone at some point. And life gets tough and you look around you and I'm like, I feel alone. Feeling alone is a big deal.
Yeah. All your family are back in America, but you have to be in India with your husband or maybe in Japan. So it's a choice.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but some marriages are transactional these days. I think I need proof of a marriage that lasted longer and it was transactional. I need proof. People say this a lot.
Transactional marriage.
Yeah, I need proof.
Brother, there are some things that I don't argue with people for. For example, when a woman says, okay, you can't know my password.
Right.
My phone. I don't have to argue with you. You don't. If you say I don't have to know the password, your phone password. You don't even have password for your Kerewa. You know what I mean? So which one is more important?
Explain, I beg.
You know what I mean?
Because I'm not sure if this is what you're trying to say. Some people say, how can you give someone access to your whole body, but you can't give them access to your phone?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm using Kerewa. You gave me access without I don't need any passcode to do that.
But that's a good place to be, right? In your mind, Patrick, that's a good place to be in your mind because you're not bothered about that, right?
Yeah.
When people are bothered about it, they start saying it out in words. These are not things you say out in words. If my wife say, if I want password and she said I can have password, as long as I have password to the Kiriwa, I'm okay. Right? and I mean that. And I have to mean that. I'm not saying that just because it sounds good, right? Some people say it because it sounds good, it makes them feel better, but then they are not walking around the house all moody and they start toxic arguments and stuff like that, right?
No, like it's all about maturity. I
Yeah.
just told you my wife is here. I don't
Mm.
have to hide my phone. I don't have to take my phone to the restroom.
Thank you.
Put it. I'm just stressing myself. Why should I be doing that?
Yes, yes. I always tell people that the issue is not privacy or secrecy. The issue is deeper. If she's hiding her phone in that manner, your issue is probably bigger than that phone. That's just the symptoms.
Why are you doing that? Why should I
Yeah,
go to marry with you transactional?
yeah,
What
yeah,
is that? So if you have two kids, you have one, I'll have one.
yeah.
What is that?
Transactional. Yeah, like what is transactional marriage? Yeah, nah, nah. In short term, you are absolutely correct, Daya. There are people that are in 5 years marriage, 7 years marriage, even up to 25 years marriage. They're just waiting to become empty nesters for the kids to go to college, and then they will file the divorce. But in marriages that stood the test of time, the one that you can see, even you without knowing them, you can see that this one are so connected. It's never transactional. They don't think about that. That's not their thought process. Oh, let's make sure that we are equal. We do give and I do take. I do give twice and then you do take 3 times. Like that's not how that works. That's not how
Brother,
that
there's
works.
something binding two people together to come together. There's
Mm-hmm.
something binding them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's even a risk. And women are the receiving end.
Mm.
Yes.
Adaya says a marriage was dissolved in court because of childlessness. Yeah, what is that a court? Is that a customary court in Nigeria? I'm not sure if they accept that here. I know at some point, and I'm not too familiar with the divorce laws and stuff
The
like
marriage
that.
be divorced because of childlessness. Is it part of the marriage deal? It's God that
Exactly. Exactly. You have to come up with better excuse than that. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I guess irreconcilable differences. That's irreconcilable, right? If you can't have children, they accept irreconcilable differences, right, in court.
Yes. Who's at fault? So
40 bits about.
is there any is there any court
40
report
bits
that
about. What a court case. Where is for better, for worse? Irreconcilable differences is real. Trust me. But we're in 2022.
even what they do at in courts,
Mm-hmm.
before they can even divorce, they will even give you guys time.
Yes, there's
They will just
mediation.
come.
There's all sorts of things. It's a whole process, and it's not a fun process. I know that part. It's not a fun process. Um, you know, I used to say something like this a long time ago. And I would say, I don't have any problem with divorce. You do. Divorce is a painful process for both parties, like including the person that actually wants to leave. It's a painful process. Okay? It's not as simple as, what's the word that they are non-contested. They said non-contested divorce. Just sign the paper. Yeah. It would be that simple if that person's in your mind too, right? Or if that person doesn't have a family member, that would say non-contest bit protect your interests, get a lawyer. So when you involve a lawyer, the lawyer will now, because lawyers have to get paid, don't they? They have to get paid. You think they only charge $300 that you saw on the billboards? Oh no. They will present to you that this is what you can get, this is what you can get. We need to pull out all the assets. Let's find out what all the assets are. How much does she have 401k? 401k. You're like, 401k, what is that? 401k. I didn't know 401k. Let me find. Oh, don't worry, we'll find out for you. They tell you, we'll find out for you, right? But the court will order for all their assets, if they work for a company where they get W-2s, which means it's actually documented with the company, corporate 9 to 5, they'll pull all the paperwork. They show that this person has $50,000 in 401k that they started after you got married. Guess what? You are entitled to a certain percentage of that. Why would the lawyer tell you that the more money they help you get, the more they get?
That's
right?
the transactional.
Now we're in transaction mode.
That's marriage. That's transactional.
I tell people it's cheaper, it's easier, it's much more rewarding for you to be intentional about your marriage. Like if it comes down to it, then you have to do divorce. It is what it is. Of course, some things are just that bad, that toxic. I
Yeah.
get that. But if you had to make a choice, I'll be careful what you're listening to on the internet and understand that it's highly rewarding when you engage the activities required to build your marriage. Divorce will hurt you. It doesn't matter if you're the one that wants to leave. Okay? It's a scar. It can heal. It can heal. Highly unlikely. It's extremely difficult to heal.
Yeah. Bible say marriage is honorable in all, bed undefiled.
Bed undefiled. Divorce process is not fun at all. That's when you will realize that the marriage license you signed is between both of you. Yeah, the American government will come in. Exactly. Or whatever government you belong to, UK, whatever. Even Lagos lawyers know they play. They don't play. You know, they will teach you how you should get paid so that they can get paid, right? But anyway, this has been another fun 2 hours with you, ladies and gentlemen of Prestige. Shout out to you, brother Patrick. Thank you so much for coming up as usual. Appreciate you as usual.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Let's get some last words from you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say like what I just the Bible passage I just quoted, that marriage is honorable in all, bed undefiled. You know, like I was listening to a topic about quiet quitting, and the woman was saying that, you know, if you put everything in your work, the opportunity will be there looking for you. You are building your career, you know, working hard. You know, that will be a level you get to. You don't have to put your resume anywhere. People will ask you, come out, you want to work for us? People will refer you.
Yes. Because
Yes.
your work.
Because yes, it doesn't have to be in LinkedIn anywhere. Your colleague, your friends, you say no.
Yes.
You need that experience somewhere. Yeah, I was just discussing that with my wife. So whatever you are putting in your life, you know, as in your knowledge.
Put all your all in it. Like
yes.
Make sure you're intentional about making it work.
Yes. Making it work. If you are single, you know, you are serious with your life, yeah, man will definitely you get one. The Bible says the joy of the Lord is your strength.
Right.
Don't lose hope. Brother, you know, I was offered admission here in 81 in America, and they refused me visa. 81.
In 1981.
81. I was offered. That was my first admission. My brother was given admission. He went, but when it was my
you
turn,
got admission, but you didn't get visa.
I got my from I-920. I-20. The school fees has been paid. That was during the political era. They refused me. But when I was coming to America, I came in here with my green card with my family. I got my green card in less than 1 week when I got to America. So whatever you are doing, just put all your hope there. Be there. Don't give up. If you are single, your man that will love you will come. Don't just go and marry somebody that is 80 years older than you because you want to be married. You know?
Yeah. Yes. Take it easy.
Take it easy. But Allah is empowering us. But empowering us as well. You know what I mean? Yes. And God everything.
Yeah.
You know, like somebody said, we are all anointed. They said, right from the mother's womb, I need you. You're all anointed. You don't have to run to anywhere.
Yeah.
It is well with us.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. You're welcome at any time to come and bless us with your presence. Thank you so much. Your wisdoms are unmatched. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks.
Chinyere, good to see you. Chinyere, good to see you. You've been listening quietly. You're like the quiet soldier. I hear you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So here's the thing. Here's what we got. Let me show you this. Are your parents strict about mixed race relations? This was a study. 1,000 votes came in. Somebody said earlier that it's not their decision. Or maybe, I think it was D'Souza. She meant to say it shouldn't be their decision. Now, let's talk about reality. Right? 531 people, 53% says, my parents don't mind. All right. That's fair. She's almost correct. She's almost correct, right? But then we have 104. About 10% says my parents are strict about it. What is 10% of 7 billion people? That's a lot of people. Maybe your parents are one of those people, right? About 22% says my parents can't stop me from dating whom I want anyway. That sounds like Gen Z, rebellious generation. And then about 14% says others. It's complicated. So let's just add that 14% to 22%, right? Right? Let's add that together. Hold on 1 second. This is right? Others is complicated. Let's just add them all together. 10 plus 22 plus. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. All right. 14 plus 22% plus 10. What's that? 24 plus 20. Almost. So we can just call this. We can just call this even, right? 53% against what? 47%. 47%. It's a good chance that your parents are now they're going to mind. What are the chances that you care about what your parents think? What are the chances that you care about what your parents think? Probably 80%. D'Souza talked about, good to see you, Chinye. Good to see you. Some people, most of us are people pleaser to an extent. The idea is that it can become very unhealthy. Most of us want to present. We want like whoever we bring to as partner for life. I do want my father and my mother to approve of it. It just, why? Because it's selfish. It makes me feel better. It's still selfish, right? But I want them to like the person. If they don't like the person, it messes with my brain. It messes with my mind. It messes with everything. Now, additional layer of emotional matters I have to worry about, right? How come they don't like her? Oh, now I have to like walk on eggshells every time we go for family event. That's not fun. That's not fun. Okay? We want it to be fun. I want to be able to bring my partner along and everybody's happy. She feels free with them. She's able to have fun. She's able to sit on a round table and eat dinner, Thanksgiving dinner with them, right? Right? Those 222 people, my parents can't stop me from dating. That person, you might be asking, why did I group them all together? There's a mindset of a person who says my parents can't stop me. This is probably a person that doesn't have a good relationship with their parents already. So they could care less. That creates complication. That's not what your spouse wants. Your spouse don't want to have to walk on eggshell because you don't like your parents. You think that's fun? That's not fun. That's not fun. I see people say this all the time, and they say like they're saying something good. No, it's not good. It's not good. It's neither black or white. Okay? What you really want is for everyone to be okay with each other, everybody in alignment, everybody at least able to have mutual respect for each other. They may not like each other like that, right? That's not. Remember, we don't want to be people pleaser to your own detriment, right? But to some extent, you want them to be able to hang around the same room with the spouse. Or let's flip it. You don't want to be walking on eggshell because they don't like your husband in his own family. They just think he's an asshole. Do you think that's fun? That's not fun. That's that guy who is the 222. My parent can't stop me. So every time he comes around, they're like, don't say that to his wife. Oh. We are complicated. We are a complex being. It's understandable, right? But yeah, that's that for today. We did a great job. Shout out to Amperman. Welcome to the platform. Chinye, you're late, but welcome. Chinyere, good to see you. D-Love, shout out to every one of you. Thank you so much. Shout out to Brother Patrick, of course. Esther, good to see you. Adaya, good to see you. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. D'Souza, the quiet soldier. Thank you so much for your help always. Shout out to Lady Navoa. She's going to be helping us as well. Queen J, good to see you. She didn't tell me if she's just J, but oh well. Either way, they're all queens. All right, ladies and gentlemen of Prestige. The guys are quiet, by the way. I know they're here. So, Leola, good to see you. Eunice, shout out to you. Thanks for being here. Okay. Yes, and if I didn't mention your name, shout out to you too. Shout out to Money and Wealth Conversations. Shout out to everyone. Please enjoy your weekend. Okay? Enjoy your weekend. Please enjoy your weekend. Take some time off. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back here at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Okay? We're going to do the 25th episode tomorrow. Okay? Of the Prestige Hour. So come. J Bones, good to see you. Okay? Come tomorrow. Get ready. We're going to have another fire topic to cover. Another fire story to cover. We're going to keep extracting these lessons. Okay? All right? And shout out to all the millennials and the Gen Zs out there. We love you. We love you. And hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.